Friday night. One of my fondest memories was on a ferry across to France for a rugby tour when we were younger, and we saw Dumb and Dumber for the first time. Dumb and Dumber, if you didn't know, tells the adventure of two best friends, Harry and Lloyd, much like my brother and I. Whereas I was always doing boy things like shooting guns, Ben, given any opportunity, would gravitate towards the nearest phallic object and just caress. Notice where his right hand is here. Just having a little tweak. Suspicious. I am his younger brother, and I'm sure you will be very surprised to know there's only 18 months between us. However, Ben did used to have a great head of hair. Plus, he was Specsaver's first male model at the tender age of 9. Sadly, his contract was terminated after Specsavers thought the market was confused about a white British boy with such squinty Chinese eyes. I mean, they're pretty tiny. You look at them. Ben didn't take this too well, and often would let out his anger on the rugby field. But Ben found solace in horse riding, and specifically brushing their hair, as you can see from the next pic. No, that's not funny, is it? But soon, this is getting to the good bit. But soon, his hair started to go, and Specsavers were definitely right to terminate the contract. However, Specsavers are looking to set up shop in China, and Ben has already been contacted regarding model work for the over 40 range. The range, here we go. The range was called Pedo. I had to get that in, being a teacher. Notice how I haven't actually... Back to my brothers and I's first love. My dad introduced us to the great sport of rugby at the young age of 5 and 6. And I have to say, I don't think we would be the people we are today if it wasn't for rugby. I've always looked up to my brother, especially on the rugby field, and I've always felt safe whenever he was on the pitch. As you can see, our frames are very similar. I think Ben's the mirror image of my dad. I've got Mum's side. And although you may not think it, Ben is actually really fast and hard to stop once he gets going.
That's right, yeah.
He is exceedingly strong, and when using a bench press, his trademark is to teabag whoever he is spotting, to really stick, bind, and unify the friendship. James. Couldn't get a photo of them together doing it, but...
Don't exist, mate.
In our early years, Ben and I were pretty much inseparable, and still to this day we are very close, as you can see from our parents' taste in clothes. So I didn't get a photo for that one. Ben, however, always wanted to break free from this hold and started to experiment with fashion from a young age. We still don't know why he wasn't chosen for Storm's child model range, but Dad told me later on that they stated he was purely too camp for their agency. no one else would do that pose. Although, to be suspicious, mine in the background is a bit dodgy. Still today we are treated to Ben's eclectic, audacious fashion sense, and I hoped our sister Daniela and Alison would guide him into safer territory, but he still tries to break new boundaries and trousers, literally. So here we have, this is, he's probably 17 or 18, this is in Florida. This is going through a Red Dirt, Limp Bizkit / Backstreet Boys. Again, this was only 2 years ago in New York. And again, I mean, the colours, did it match? And the pose. Just look at the pose. But as we all know, and if you didn't, is stubborn as fuck. The one thing I love about my brother, and my sister for that matter, is that they both continually show me openness and honesty towards me. Having someone who can be straight with you whilst being consistently grumpy is something I fully promote. Throughout Ben's life, he has always made friends wherever he has ventured, Winchester and Birmingham, and has always looked out for myself and Daniela. Some of his friends like to go that little bit further, like the time we had hamsters as pets. Poor little Baileys had a jolly time one evening when her water was changed for vodka. Her poor little heart couldn't take it, and we only found out why it died suddenly years later. Daniela cried for a week. I studied music at university, and Ben also is an accomplished musician, guitarist, and
singer-songwriter.
Tries to be. And throughout his life, and my sisters and myself, we've always been immersed in different styles of music. By the time he got to university, his taste in music took a bit of a change, but I'm going to lead you on to Parry.
Hello everybody. So this leads us nicely on to Ben's very infamous playlists. Now, if any of you know him well enough, he'll maybe written one for you, put one together for you, and encouraged you to play them to women who come round to your bedroom to hang out, in the hope that one thing will lead to another. Dawson's Creek inspired tracks. I can tell you, from personal experience, do the complete opposite.
Go on, women, Harry.
I'm going to leave that one. So moving on to Ben's very unique taste in music, inspired many of his fashion choices over the years. A massive Backstreet Boys fan. The only person in school who could scream louder about Nick Carter than the girls. Many haircut, many an outfit. His musical talents also extend into performing. And if we're lucky enough later, he'll give us the full rendition of Will Smith's Getting With It. Will Smith's Getting Jiggy With It. That he can recount and rap the entirety of. Hopefully he'll come out of retirement later on to choose to that. Maybe in the Thames. So it's quite an incredible feat that through, with armed with all these amazing attributes, that Ben was able to remain single for the vast majority of his adolescence. So that luckily, when he was fortunate enough to meet Patey once again in later life, he was in fact single, available, and able to embark on the adventure that brings us all here today. But before I get ahead of myself, there's one thing I forgot to mention: the engagement. Now, for those of us that were in New York on that fateful day, Ben having bent the knee in Boston, Massachusetts, a a few days before, we turn up to New York to meet our friends on Ben's birthday. Following his unconventional approach to music and women, he was in fact in more shock than Patey through the entirety of the process and would only speak about the wedding until very recently, which was all about his ensemble, as he would call it today, which looked, for you, actually quite good. So well done. Since the engagement, Ben and Patey have since bought their first house together, an eco house, very environmentally conscious, which works well considering Ben's God-given gift for producing industrial amounts of methane, especially in the bedroom. I've been reliably informed. So maybe one day, many habits will continue to shine through. The long-lived Welsh tradition of answering the door just in your white huggers lives on and prospers in bed. And maybe one day in this family home, they might choose to start their family of their own. But before I put Ben into any more shock, I would just like to personally wish them all the best on their adventure together.
Hello? There you go. So this is where I am now, supposed to follow on from... Hello? Why are you keep cutting out of me? Honestly, I'm going to get closer. How's that? Ready? How about I just stand here? Right, how about right in the middle? We'll go in the middle. Let's go in the middle. Okay. I'll start again in that case. So this is where I am now supposed to follow on from Tom and talk about 3 parts of Ben's life. The first one's of nicknames, such as Bradley Coleman. I still don't know where that comes from. Bollywood Ben, and to the more recent... Someone be quick, get to the laptop, get there, quick, won't be as funny otherwise. Anders Breivik. I don't personally see it, Ben, but I don't know, obviously they do. Second one of his love is making romantic playlists, and the third one is a certain story that only a few of us know about that happened to Ben. Unfortunately, after much debating with myself, I decided that the story about Ben is far too explicit, even for a best man speech, and unfortunately just can't be included.
Tell it! We want to hear it!
Get me pissed later on and I'll tell you, I promise. Anyway, leaves me with... Hello? I'm about to move closer, God. Okay, anyway, so this leaves me with this subject of nicknames and romantic playlists to fill a 3-minute slot. Now, I know I'm a bloody hilarious guy, and Ben will vouch for that, but even... Oh, God, bloody hell. Even I'm not funny enough to make a... I'm even lost on here now. Not even I'm funny enough to make a speech funny, with this is all the material I've got to work. So naturally, I thought to myself, I'll write the man a poem instead. Guys, so what can I say about Ben? Well, for starters, we all thought he liked men. He had hair aplenty until he turned 20, and now it's never to be seen again. Of comics and superheroes, he's a fan. Sorry, my 2 secs. From Supergirl, Arrow, and Man. He'd love to wave a wand and become James Bond, then have sex with Moneypenny in the back of a van. He's covered in bruises from his feet to his chin, because when he plays rugby, he plays to win. Clearly in the game, there is no shame. Hello? Hello? There is no shame as he let one of his teammates guide him back in. That's the bit of the story, by the way, so no hint. His fashion sense, we don't understand. At least you can't say that this man is bland. His individual style left him single for a while, and the only sex he had was with his right hand. One thing that surprises me about you, matey, is you're 31, but you look like you're 80. Despite skin so fair and losing your hair, have you managed to bag a winner like Patey? However you did it, she's now part of your life. I should have stopped, shouldn't I? That was perfect. I just thought... Cheers, Mark. We're in the limelight, that's all right.
What happened?
There's only one verse left as well. You could have waited.
Mark fell off his chair.
However you did, he's now part... Oh, no, right, you know, I'm just going to stand over here, but a lot easier. However you did it, she's now part of your life. My advice to you is don't argue near a knife. You're great together, you're mad forever. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben now has a wife.
Hello. I think it's if you move, then it cuts out. That's my theory. Okay, I just wanted to conclude. Well done to Mike and Tom. Swiftly. Okay, there's people outside. I just wanted to say, in spite of all his quirky traits, Ben uses the use of word ensemble relentlessly. Ben has always been a great brother and friend, and consistently been the rock of our large family. I know he'll be a great husband and dad, and him and Alison will be really happy together. Everyone, can you all raise your glasses and join me in toasting the happy couple? I'll get my glass of water.
Happy couple.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mr. and Mrs. Welch.
Mrs. Welch! Woo!
Let's get pissed.